the silent weaver of Samarkand. In the eastern quarter of Samarkand, where the scent of saffron and old cedar hung like a spell over the cobblestones, there lived a young man named Naeem. His home was a small clay-walled dwelling tucked behind the dye market, his days consumed by the unglamorous work of weaving rugs. His fingers bore the hardened knots of labor, his clothes forever scented by wool and dust. The city did not sing his name. In the bazaar, merchants spoke of poets who charmed kings, of blacksmiths whose swords hummed like wind in the mountains. But of Naeem they said little. He was a mere loom boy, a thread splicer, a shadow in a corner. What they did not know was that Naeem, when the lamps dimmed and the voices of the city faded, wove dreams into the warp and weft. His rugs were unlike any seen before, but no one had yet laid eyes upon them. He wove in silence, storing them in an attic sealed with an old copper lock. For years he worked, and no one cared. He brought sketches to masters who laughed. He spoke to nobles who waved him away. Even the orphan boys mocked his tattered sandals and called him the beggar of threads. Yet Naeem believed. He believed with a fire that burned quieter than rage, but deeper than despair. Each night he said to himself, "I was not made to be forgotten. The stars above me whisper truths no man hears." And he would rise before the first bird called, hands to the loom, weaving colors not yet named, patterns shaped from dreams no one dared remember. Then, on the eve of the new moon festival, the Sultan declared a competition. Let all artisans bring forth their greatest creation. The winner shall become royal craftsman, and his name shall be sung from Balkh to Bukhara. The city roared to life. Jewelers carved with trembling hands, glass-blowers breathed fire into light, and famed weavers unrolled carpets threaded with silver and stitched with pomegranate rubies. Naeem, with a heart thudding like a battle drum, brought one rug. Just one, a creation stitched in silence over 7 years. As he carried it through the crowd, people scoffed. A beggar dares enter? He'll embarrass even the dust he walks on. But Naeem said nothing. He walked until he stood before the Sultan. Then, without a word, he unfurled his rug, and the world grew still. The rug was a storm of color and meaning, a spiral of ancient prayers and celestial maps, of mountain winds and desert suns, of love lost and found in the breath of time. The Sultan leaned forward. His ministers gasped. Even the wind halted as if to listen. For the threads did not simply show beauty. They spoke it. They told stories in silence, of exile and perseverance, of a soul who knew no one saw him, but who saw himself clearer than any mirror. "Who are you?" the Sultan finally asked. Naeem, eyes steady, replied, "I am the one you never looked for, but who always saw the path." And the Sultan rose from his throne, descended the steps, and bowed. Not to a prince, not to a general, but to a weaver from the shadowed alleys of Samarkand. From that day, Naeem's name filled the tea-houses and caravan routes. Children learned his story before they learned their prayers. But for Naeem, nothing changed, except now, when he sat before the loom, the world no longer doubted. It listened. For there are those whom the world overlooks, not because they are small, but because their greatness is still gathering strength. And when they rise, they do not need to shout. Their silence is louder than thunder.